So to the Breakfast Club. So this year has been the year of exposing. Um, Probably most infamously, we saw you could pretty much say the downfall of Diddy, um, or the beginning of the downfall, and at the time of and this year we've seen him literally federal charges get brought up against him, in all the aftermath and fallout that comes with that. We've seen countless people recount their stories of what parties and situations have been like as a result of Diddy and his organizations and his lifestyle. And some of the more prevalent stories have come from people that were used to be closely associated with Diddy, i.e., Shyne. For those who aren't familiar, Shyne is a former bad boy artist. Was super popping back in the day, 90s era. And while in back in the day, obviously they were immensely close, and in recent times we've seen some level of not necessarily reconciliation, but a um, a sort of a forgiveness, that they've spoken to. It seems like in this current day and age, they maybe have a change of heart, and with all the stuff that happened in Diddy, maybe it makes sense. So for also those who don't know, the reason why there was an era of extreme hostility because Shine actually, and this is some level of theory based, but this is we're just going based off what he's spoken to. Shine ended up taking a case for Diddy, as he would state. He was the fall guy, is what he's literally on record of saying. In which I believe it was a young woman ended up getting shot in a club, and while there was evidence that suggests Diddy was the shooter, Shine was the one that ended up getting found guilty of that crime, and led to his literal 10-year prison sentence. So effectively, imagine being the fall guy for Diddy. So and then we get to this modern day Breakfast Club interview with the headline: Shine reveals Diddy only gave him 50,000 gave him 50,000 after his 10-year prison sentence, and admits he tried to spit in Diddy's face when he came to visit him in prison. Let's listen to a bit of it. It's a relatively 3-minute clip. Maybe we'll pause if we need to, but we can let it play for a bit.
So there wasn't an instant forgiveness. I got out in 2009. We didn't. There wasn't an attempt at reconciliation until 2012, when I went to Paris to meet him, and that was the first attempt at forgiveness. But I was still in a place of he owes me. He owes me his life. He owes me. He's a billionaire. If it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have been a billionaire. If I would have cooperated with the district attorney, he'd have went to jail, and heaven knows what would have happened to his.
And to be honest, give a little spoiler because again, this brother's about to chat. Honestly, this first 30 seconds really gets to the crux of what I'm kind of interested to hear you guys' thoughts on. And typically we do like to not necessarily focus on the specific what the person in the video is, or in the content is in the story is necessarily saying and or doing. But this might be one of the things where I'm kind of just dead ass curious to know what you guys think of this particular situation. So, well, as he literally gets into in this clip, if it wasn't for him, Diddy would have the one to face those charges. Diddy would have won to face prison time or consequences. He's literally saying because he didn't cooperate, and he allowed Diddy to continue to have freedom and build his business and organization and become a billionaire, quote unquote. And as you can already hear in the tone, but as we'll keep it playing, it seems like a level of angst. Like, if it wasn't for me, you would have got the jail time. You would have had to pay. You would have had to do this. But we'll keep playing.
His career, right? So that's worth at least a couple $1 million out of the billion that you're worth. And interestingly enough, one of the things that Cassie alleges in her lawsuit is that when he would assault her, then he would take her on shopping sprees. And so I saw that in Paris. He spent like $500,000 like in one day shopping for her. And then after I left,
She was around back then?
that's 2012.
Oh, 2012. Okay, yeah.
2012.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's what I'm saying. That was the first attempt at reconciliation
Gotcha,
after I got out.
gotcha.
I got out in 2009. And then it took a couple of years before I said, we reach out. I was actually living in Israel at the time. And, but I felt he owed me something. And so it's like, he probably gave me like 50 racks. And I'm like, you can't be serious. Like, that's 10
Pause
years, 50 racks. Like,
So, like I said, as you can see by what the brother's saying, he felt that Diddy owed him for being the fall guy, taking that prison sentence, 10 years. That's literally no joke. He literally 10 years off of his life. He was relatively young when he started the game, and 10 years just like that. And he says when he reached out to try to have that path of reconciliation, he expected literally millions in return for doing this, but he ended up getting not so much. And honestly, we can continue to listen. It starts to go into his reaction when Diddy tried to visit him in one instance. But I mean, based on what we're hearing, and to be honest, when I heard this, I don't even know what my full reaction or thoughts are. But I don't necessarily I'm not necessarily on board with this. And maybe I'm tweaking, but what do y'all think about when y'all hear this? Like, is he sound like he's completely justified? Like, if you do a bid for somebody, especially somebody that's wealthy, do you think it's completely reasonable, rational to feel as if you're worth, like you're owed like a great sum, or does this seem like some weird entitlement for, honestly, your own decisions? I'm definitely curious to know what you guys think. Start with you, Ghost.
Well, I mean, seeing this, my very first thought was, you ain't get nothing in writing? And I know there's the old wire meme, you take on notes on a criminal conspiracy, and it's something like a agreement that you make with Diddy or some other millionaire that, yeah, I'm gonna take the fall for you, but gonna need something in return. That's not necessarily something that you would want to have in writing, but at the same time, like, I don't know any type of legal precedents, but I would at least talk to some type of lawyer, my lawyer, like,
What
dog.
is what is a lawyer gonna do? You were convicted. In the eyes of the law, the
Well,
case
the
is
thing is,
sealed, delivered, and done.
I'm saying before the conviction and before any type of judgment, when you're still debating, am I really gonna take the fall for? Because I mean, I don't know the situation, but the way I would understand and what I would think it happened was they were all associate parties were arrested, and at some point when they're getting interrogated, all that, police taking statements, then Diddy said, "Hey, if you take the fall for me, I'm gonna make it worth your while." Hint, hint.
I'm gonna be honest.
And
I don't believe there was any conversation. I think back in
so
the
you're
day, the
saying that you think that Shyne just took the fall?
no, I'm saying back in the day, I think
Oh, you saying it wouldn't have
Diddy
been
being the head of the organization,
yeah, it wouldn't have been
it
a
would just
request. It would have just
it
been
would
expected. Okay.
exactly like like if I go down, the whole thing go down. So you take the fall, and then when you get out, I got you.
Got you.
But
Yeah, okay. I see
but
what you
Diddy
mean.
didn't get him in the way he expected.
Yeah, so I mean in that case, I would have needed something like something up front, like, oh, you want me to do 10 years? Don't worry, I got you. But just make sure you get 5 million to my peoples or whatever his amount is. Get this money to my family, get this to whoever, and then I'll do my bid, no questions. I will, like, there has to be some level of something. Like, I'm sorry, but if you just expect someone that is not only just rich, but like evil. Because I don't know if he knew all of Diddy's dealings and how what his level of involvement was, but it's come out like again Diddy's. If all the allegations true, he's absolutely evil, disgusting person, and you just expect him to get you the way that you think you deserve to be taken care of. I'm not trying to say it's on you, but it's kind of on you, dog. Like I pray that I would never be in a situation like this, but if I was like it wouldn't even be like cuz it's a very slippery slope when you're dealing with someone of that caliber that could make arrangements for you, so to speak, if you didn't play by the rules. But
Hmm.
there'd be some level of discussion. Like I wouldn't just expect it. Like that just seems kind of I don't know if naive is the right word because like if you think you're cool with them and you expect you to be taken care of and you're doing a 10-year bid, that's I don't know. I don't think I'd have that level of trust or expectation, and I would just need to see some proof of uh payment, so to speak. Like you sent the money to X place, you sent X amount before I agreed to anything. Because otherwise, I don't know. It's again very slippery slope when you just say, "Oh, I'm gonna say, nah, you were responsible." Then you can get into the mysterious, how you woke up dead in the cell. How did that happen?
Jesus.
But like, I don't. What'd you expect, bro? Like, this is kind of like you're dealing with evil people. You're gonna get
And a deal with the devil.
exactly the perfect way of putting it. Perfect way of putting it. I
So
don't what
you
you know.
think
You can't expect
you
anything that an
think
upholding member of society would do. Like
I
no
don't think he
that's
actually
saw
what it
Diddy
is.
as evil.
yeah, that's one
You
part.
think?
I don't think he saw Diddy as evil.
Obviously not.
Don't say that because
Not back
I
then,
don't know.
no.
What you say? I mean,
Not
dang,
back
like
then.
it's possible. Like Diddy's been doing this shit for decades. Like it's possible that he knew and he just didn't say anything. I'm not saying anything for or against, but I'm just saying don't rule out the possibility that he had some knowledge of Diddy's dealings.
So do you think like no like literally zero expectation would make more sense? Like I don't know. It's kind of a weird question. Like what do you think is a reasonable expectation for doing that level of a bid for somebody?
I mean, I don't know if zero expectations is the way I put it because like if I was in never happened. If I was in Diddy's position where someone was going to take the fall for me personally, I would do everything to ensure that they're taken care of. Which is, again, wild scenario. But on the flip side, I wouldn't expect anyone to have a level or a sense of morality or I unless I know the person, like unless it's one of y'all or a family member, I'm not expecting it from anyone to be honest. Even if it's like, oh, we're quote unquote cool. I just knowing how people in general, it's like you kind of gotta expect the worst,
Mm.
unfortunately, until you get to know the person better. So with that in mind, it's like I would hope, but I wouldn't expect because I know a lot of people are just greedy beyond compare.
You're not wrong at all. What about you, Ace? Upon hearing what the brother had to say, feeling the feeling of not getting what he deserved after doing that bid for Diddy, what comes to your mind? Curious to know your thoughts.
I mean, I think I kind of get it, to be honest. If things went down in the way that I'm thinking, where maybe it wasn't something that was like worked out in any type of official capacity or deal, but like I would imagine it as immediately following the aftermath of the incident, um, oceans are high and everything. And if it was a situation like where Shyne and Diddy know exactly what happened, or know approximately what happened, or who possibly could have injured who, like, as opposed to not, and Diddy says, "Don't worry, we're good. I got you. Whatever happens, I got you." Shyne getting the impression that, okay, based off of that, I'm gonna I'm gonna allow this to run its course, and if I end up getting incarcerated, so be it. Diddy's got me. And then after the fact, like he says, he was expecting more. Like I don't necessarily. I'm not gonna fault him for that per se. While I do agree with Ghost that it certainly would have been more ideal to get something worked out in official capacity, with lawyers or something like
I don't
that.
know the legalities of that, by the way. We can look it up, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if possible, and that would have been better. But at the same time, I wouldn't discount having hard feelings because of like an implied "I got you" if things go sour or whatever. Maybe not even if you take the fall for me explicitly, but whatever happens, you land in jail. Um, I got you when you get out. So
but the problem is, Diddy did give him a handout. It just wasn't to his like level of
yeah, it
what he was
wasn't.
expecting.
I mean, yeah, that's
So
fine.
isn't that the quarrel here? Isn't that the problem? Like, uh, and it's kind of like what goes with saying like, if you already have take issue with how the way things played out, where are we getting the sense of expectation from? And I guess I guess I'll also ask like, what do you think a bid like this is worth? Like, what is a reasonable expectation?
I think the perspective that he gave was sufficient. Like, if he saw Diddy going out and buying
Because he was
500K,
spending hundreds of $1,000s on his significant other.
yes, his
Bro,
significant other versus the
in
guy who
one
took the
day,
fall for you.
in one day, bro, it's 10 years comparison.
Exactly.
This is
That's
your
what I'm saying.
life.
Yeah, yeah. Are you agreeing
For
with me?
me, I would say 10 million, 1 million for each year
Right.
I
That's what I'm
did.
saying.
Like,
And
If you could drop 5K in a day, I mean 500K in a day, yeah, you're
and
talking in the millions certainly.
that math does add up. We don't know what this 50K came from, but I don't think that's a reasonable comparison. The money I spend on my significant other, that's a whole different category to what I'm going to give to somebody that
yeah,
maybe
the money that you spend
Yeah,
on your
took the fall
significant
for
other
you.
should be
Got you
nothing
out.
compared to
Exactly.
10
you got
years of
you
your
guys have
life.
you guys have it backwards.
No, you are
No,
bugging.
you're
No
bugging,
way.
Quest. You're out. You're out.
I
No
am
way.
kind
You're
of
not gonna have a
I
significant other if
am
you're in
kind of
prison.
being facetious, but I can definitely understand from D's perspective, like especially if this was the era of when there has started to been some level of abuse in that relationship. Yeah, I'm 100% spending the $100,000 on my significant other, who's literally could be the reason why I go to jail now. Compared to this guy, he's already done the time. Wait, what are you talking about? Wait, that's done. You're convicted. I don't necessarily owe
Well,
you. I don't
okay,
necessarily
that's
owe you anything.
fine.
Anything I give you is out of the charity of my heart.
That's fine, but I still can 100% see or uh yeah, see somebody get pissed off by that, and to me there is some justification there.
I mean,
Like,
I would
say if it
be.
was $50 that he tried to give Shine. Like, obviously
$50.
there is some there
Well, that's
there
just to spit in
is
the
some
face.
level of insult that could be associated with giving him some pittance amount of money. Like, there is a scale there. So
Yes, we agree. There's a threshold.
right. So to us, or to me, 50,000 sounds like a lot. But again, when you if you really put it in the context of 10 years in prison and really think about the effect that that has on somebody's life and just their mental, like everything, like
No, I
I think you can justify a higher number, like getting pissed off at the 50K.
I 100% agree with that way of looking at it. I guess again, and when I was first hearing it, it was the and maybe it really has a lot to do with the tonality of like, oh, you're spending money on this girl, but you're not giving it to me. I don't like that. I don't like looking at what somebody else got in their pockets or how they're spending on somebody else, and then being like, well, why aren't you giving me this? I don't think it's ever.
Well, I
Ever
mean
cool to
that
look
I
at
think
this.
it's important because it gives context to like I'm not saying that obviously in Diddy's mind his significant other is going to be a lot more important than the person that already did the bid for him, but it contextualizes the fact that he has money in essence to
Right,
burn,
right,
and he
right,
just has this disposable income that he's
right.
spending 500,000 in a single day
I
or
mean,
a single
regardless
afternoon.
if we saw him spend it, we know he has it because of we just know Diddy's net worth. What are we talking about?
Well, yeah, but it puts it into perspective. Like
Right.
if you're dealing with a millionaire that's like frugal and cheap, and they
Exactly.
don't even want to spend like $100 on a lunch or something. They're super frugal, and then you contrast it with a millionaire who's out here spending uh, 10, 20,000 on just wine for a dinner, or just say, hey, shots for the entire bar. Like that, it puts into perspective. Like, okay, this person is a lot loose with their money. They got a lot to spur. They got a lot to burn, and they're fine with doing it on stuff that's relatively frivolous and has no real huge impact on their life. Like again, their significant other is they're gonna be spending money for them, but it's just again the manner in which it happened. It said, okay, yeah, he got money, he's fine with spending it, and even outside of the 500K, that's you give me 50K for 10 years, like I can work at a damn McDonald's and make
Get that in
50K
one
in a
year.
year.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
maybe not back then, but
yeah, yeah.
like that's not even a year's worth pay, and you're giving me that. Like it's an insult.
All right, yeah.
I would be pissed, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Mhm.
Anger would 100% be there.
you guys are making a case. Um. Let's finish sharing what the brother had to say. I don't think there's any more of the discussion, but let's hear what he had to say.
Oh
So that
man,
whole 10 years you were in jail, he didn't reach out to you at all?
he came to see me once, and I think I tried to spit in his face
Okay.
in Rikers Island. So
That's probably
you
why he
know,
didn't come back, yeah.
I didn't want him to
Rikers,
come back.
right?
I didn't even want him to come see me. I didn't even know he was coming to see me. They
Oh,
just brought me down, and the lawyers.
that's another element to this. Obviously, uh, if um if someone truly did take a bid for you, or it is the reason why you were able to experience freedom and continue to grow your career, your business, and your life in general, I think it's not outside the realm of reality that they would be a bit peeved when they see you, but there could be a world in which after that experience, if homeboy's trying to spit at me, Diddy's like, okay, so this guy's like pissed at me. So now he did it. He understands I would have taken care of him, but he's like holding his grudge on me. So maybe I'm not gonna be overwhelmingly supportive of him. I'm not gonna give him that those millions. It's another perspective, of course. Good play.
Office, and you know,
And
So you
Diddy's
did an angry
advocate.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
I really, you know, my life was destroyed, devastated, and I was figuring out how to continue living buried alive. And I didn't want anything to do with him. And yeah, there was a lot of hurt and a lot of pain in that. But I wasn't just sitting there. I'm angry. I sat there. I got into my spirituality, got into my Judaism. You know, I did the deal with Def Jam. You know,
$3 million. Mhm.
couple $1 million. Put out Godfather Buried Alive album, album I love, and you know, continue living every day to get out. But yeah,
There you have it, man. I don't know what the clear moral of the story is here, but if you're gonna have a for one thing, guys, even though what you guys are saying makes a lot of sense, if you're gonna have this high level of regret and remorse for covering for somebody, I mean, this is one of those stories where it's like it don't even seem like it's worth it.
I mean, I don't think you can do anything about it though. uh, so it's like I feel like at a certain point in, I mean, I don't know how old he was when this happened, but if he was young, like this is the type of thing that
I mean,
it's kind of just.
the way he talks about it now, he's it definitely seems like it was fully in his control. No,
I don't. No, not really. I mean, in his control, sure, he had the choice. He did have a choice, but at the same time, like when you have like a mentor type figure that you're looking up to, if I'm interpreting Shyne and Diddy's relationship back then as such,
he was 21.
21. And I mean, Diddy was very established in the industry by the time that the incident occurred, right?
It was 1999. Yeah, it was that
Yeah,
Bad
yeah.
Boys. It's that Bad Boys. 90s, going to 2000s. It was.
Right, right. So, yeah, I don't know. There's obviously a sense. I mean, the responsibility still ultimately relies on him, but um, it's. I think it's at that younger age with a mentor type relationship, it's more likely for things like this to occur than not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's maybe one of those things where you know, again, he probably he obviously felt like he was gonna get covered, and
Right.
obviously Diddy was the not the manpower, but the driving force behind his career and success in general. So he felt that that was still a good bet. But I mean, he said it in the video. He said he could have cooperated, and that could have drastically uh, altered the trajectory of what you know Diddy's life would have been like. So
Hmm.
I think I think you're being a little too wholesome about this, or why he would have taken the fall. I think that if he had made the decision to on Diddy and say that he did it, he would not be here today. Like, you're really telling me that Diddy, alleged killer of multiple prominent rappers, not confirmed but alleged. You tell me Diddy doesn't have connections to, oh, you betrayed me. We'll see how
listen,
long that lasts. Like, come on now, come on.
this is not the Irishman or Goodfellas. I don't want to get into
Come
like
on,
I don't want to
come
get into
on.
the.
You're being
I'm
naive.
not trying to
Come
get into
on,
the
come
element of
on.
like he had to do this or it would have put his life in or his family's
Yes,
life in
yeah,
danger.
I a
Yes, the
hundred
'90s was
percent.
wild and yes, these elements are existing, but I'm just going based off of what he said. He said he could have cooperated and Diddy would have gone to jail. That's what
I
he
think
said.
he,
That
I
is
think he's,
true.
yeah, he might have been able to do that, and Diddy might have gone to jail. I just think, like I said, he wouldn't be here today.
Fair
Like,
enough. If he,
You would
Diddy
think
has
he would say
connections.
it. Like he wouldn't have any reason not to say it at this point. Why wouldn't he just come out and say that now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fair enough. I don't know the tone and outlook on life. I mean, I already said the most story. It still makes me look at like a little cringe, but you know, I think we all have somewhat expectations when we, in general, do favors for people. Even though you could argue we shouldn't have, I think we just inherently will
Yeah.
when we do favors for folks. So when you magnify it to this level, it's obviously he's gonna feel like he didn't get his just dues for what he gave up. Hey man, that Diddy shit is a mess. There's nothing else we can go on to the next topic.
This might be a very out of pocket thing to say, but
All right.
kind of doesn't surprise me that this isn't making a suspect when he said Good Kid, Mad City is trash.
Oh yeah, I always forget about that. Yeah, I have to go back in the time machine to understand
That's
why
really the number one thing that I know Shine for. And
why
then
he
when
said
Kendrick dropped "The Jig Is Up,"
why he said that.
it had that bar about him.
Yeah, it was so weird at the time because Shyne was like literally the only person that had spoke negatively
Literally the only person ever that's spoken bad about the album.
at that time. I think I was still kind of I know something about this, still getting into hip hop, and when I saw that, I was very intrigued. Like, what is his brother's background to why he would even feel like that? But that's a topic for another day.